Hey YouTubers! Okay, hold on. Yeah. Take this off. Okay. Another unexpected holiday today. Hold on, I gotta take this off. Alright, I don't want to get too distracted because I want to talk about DUOLINGO. DUOLINGO. Okay, last time I mentioned DUOLINGO, I don't know what the heck I said, but I was still going under the assumption that I would be eliminating a unit as I went. I would go through 1 to 4, then go back, but instead of doing Unit 1 again, I would eliminate Unit 1 and then do Unit 2 through 4 on the next level, and then eliminate, then go back and eliminate Unit 2 and then start with Unit 3 to 4. And once I went through that level, I would just do level 4 and that would be it. Change of plans. Heck no, that's not going to work. So, yeah. I went through Units 1 through... What's it talking about? I did Unit 1 through 4, okay, on the first level. Then I went back, starting with Unit 2 on the next level. And I went through that, and then I was starting Unit 3 on the second level. Then I realized, wait a minute, this unit is just talking about specific grammatical points. Right? This is from someone that was still working on the basics. So they're not even covering, the overall language. They're just focusing on specific grammatical points. I'm not there yet. Then I looked at Unit 4, and Unit 4 basically increases your vocabulary in specific categories. So Unit 4 is like specific categories. It's to increase your vocabulary in specific areas. Yeah, I'm still working on the basics. So my initial setup, that's not going to work. So, like I said, I went back to Unit 2 and I did level 2 on Unit 2 before I started realizing all the other stuff, this other stuff. Anyway, I went back to Unit 1. Okay? And I did the next level 2 on Unit 1. And good thing too. The questions remain the same, but the format changes. Let me explain that. Okay. First time through, you are being exposed to the material. All right. So you can just go through all of them and kind of tap on the individual words and to find out what they mean. Excuse me, I'm going to fill this up before I forget. Yeah, this is my existence now. Nothing but restocking and running to work. Yeah, this is lotion. And I've been doing the whole experiment thing with the soap because my hands are just getting way too dried. Okay, see how I'm distracted? Okay, anyway. Back to DUOLINGO. Your first time through, you're just being exposed to the material. All right. You can tap on the individual words, and it'll tell you what they mean. So that's basically all you're doing the first time through. Now by the time you get through all the 4 units, you're still tapping on the words, but only about, but not all of them. Maybe, I don't know, half of them. Because just through sheer repetition, you're picking up what the most commonly occurring, the most frequently occurring words, you know them by that time. Alright, so a, and, or, all those, you know, the articles and whatever, some of the nouns, some of the adverbs, whatever. The most frequently occurring words, you're not tapping on them because just out of sheer repetition, you already know what they mean. But you're still basically hitting at least half of them. Alright, because they don't occur that frequently, so that's going to take a minute. Alright, I'll do this later. I'll leave it here. I guess I'll remember. Alright. Let me put some lotion on my hands, cracking all over the place. Okay, so your first time through, you're just being exposed to the material for the first time. Alright, second time, I wrote notes on this. Let me, since I'm still running around. Okay. Now I want to get this out of the way because there's a lot happening. And I did want to get back to this because this has become a major part of my existence now. As far as what I need to stay focused on, my priorities. And as you go through here, you start noticing things, and so I wanted to take notes on these things. Alright, hold on. What's the, okay, I already mentioned that. So, okay, level 1, initial exposure to material. You're basically just hitting the words to reveal their meaning. Level 2, multiple choice. You get to the correct response through a process of elimination. Level 3, if you get through this level without first getting it wrong, writing down the correct response, and then just entering that response the second time, you know what you're doing because most of it is essay questions. Most of them are essay questions at this point. Level 4 and beyond, I put question mark because I haven't gotten there yet. Review. I'm assuming it's just going to be review. It looks like the questions remain the same, but the format changes as you advance. Okay, so the first time through, you're tapping on the words to reveal their meaning. The thing is mostly multiple choice, so you can also get it through a process of elimination. I mean, if you know that they give you like 4 choices, and if you know one of them is just is apple, the other one is cheese, the other one is whatever, and the other thing, and they're talking about directions or something that has nothing to do with that, just, you know, even if you don't recognize the right response, if you recognize the ones that are wrong, just through a process of elimination, you'll get there. So anyway. And like I said, after a while, like level 3 is mostly essay. Alright? It's not multiple choice anymore. It's not just hitting it to find it. Now you've got to actually key in the response. So by the time you get to level 3, unless you're getting them all wrong, you know what you're doing. Alright? And that's the other thing. If you're getting them all wrong, you'll run out of hearts Fully supplied hearts, you get 5, okay? As you make a mistake, you start eliminating them one by one. Once you get down, once you drain them all to 5, go through all 5 hearts, you can either use whatever gems you've collected. Once you finish every lesson, you're rewarded with gems. And if you're willing to watch additional ads, they'll give you more gems. So if you're actually able to collect enough gems, you make 5 mistakes, you can pay for 5 more hearts, right? If you have enough gems. If not, you've got to tap on the heart, the heart icon. It's like 0 at that point. So you tap on that, and then you can select practice, and it'll take you through a practice lesson. And every practice lesson you do, you get a heart. Even if you make mistakes all the way through, at the end of the lesson you will get a heart. All right? And also, you're racking up points, so you're also getting, at the beginning of the week, you get on a board, a roster, and the higher you get on the roster, the better your chances of getting promoted into the next league, kind of thing. So even as you're doing practice lessons, you're still getting points, so you're still actually able to climb on the roster. And even if you get all the questions wrong in a practice lesson, you will still get that heart. So you get points and you get a heart for doing the practice lessons. And with any luck, you'll actually get additional information. So if you are at a level that you are definitely not prepared for, you're going to be doing a lot of practice lessons. If you are at a level that you are definitely prepared for, you're going to go through lessons without making any mistakes. And after you go through your second lesson without having made any mistakes at all, the system will prompt you to go ahead and advance to the next level. I do not opt for that option. I never select that option. One, the system is assuming that you already know all that assumption. As a matter of fact, the third lesson is usually the place where I make the mistake, and it's something foundational. It's something essential that I obviously missed the first time around. So I am glad I don't choose to automatically go to the next level, because I would have missed it. Alright, I missed a basic element that will I'll keep on running into. So one, I never assume that like the system does, that I already know everything. I've never come across a situation where that's the case. Okay? Oh, that's another thing. I said, with any luck, I won't have to do flashcards. I've already started doing flashcards. Alright. So much for that little thing. But luckily, I'm pretty good at doing flashcards because I know how to just stick to the facts. Alright? Just stick to the facts. Don't get too, when I'm writing in my notebook, I can write down all the phrases, but when it comes to flashcards, less is more, okay? So I've gotten things like, I did all the basic, the greeting phrases, the basic greeting phrases. I did that because as a foreigner, you're already going to be offending everybody. You don't know anything. You're going to be sticking your foot in your mouth all the time. You're going to be a bull in a china shop, all right? Because you don't know anything. You don't know the language. You don't know the custom. So, and assuming you're budget traveling, No one's going to cut you any slack. You know, if you're willing to pay through the nose for service, they will find your flaws and your just cluelessness very charming. If you're budget traveling, no one's going to find it charming. Everyone's going to find it irritating, and you're going to be offending everybody. So, unless you're a Rockefeller and you're paying for really the extras, learn the greetings. All right? Just to soften the rudeness you will automatically be guilty of. Just because you don't know what the heck you're doing. Alright? So there's nothing wrong with a little greeting. Hello, how are you? Goodbye, good luck, thank you, excuse me. You know, a little politeness, and please, thank you, you know, you're welcome, kind of thing. Even if they're put in the wrong place, it's kind of charming because you don't know that. As a matter of fact, it accentuates the fact that you don't know what the heck you're doing, and you're just, you know, but you're trying, you know, you're putting in the even if you're really about trying, because as a budget traveler, your patience runs out really fast. You go through patience like nothing, because everything's going to be an ordeal. Traveling is hard work. If you're not paying a premium for it, budget traveling is hard work. Budget traveling is always going to be hard work. All right? And the more clueless you are, the more of an ordeal it's going to be. So, learn the greetings. Learn the couple of phrases to just take the edge off your rudeness and just your clueless thoughtlessness kind of thing, which you will be guilty of. Don't worry about it. All right? You're going to be guilty of it. If something happened, it's your fault. Okay. No, not necessarily. Because there are also people that like taking advantage of people that are foreigners because they're just jerks, and every country, every culture has them. Yeah. But odds are it's going to be your fault. All right. But yeah, you run into the jerks because the jerks like to take advantage of that kind of situation you're in, and they know you don't know what the hell you're doing. But anyway, you're a foreigner. Learn the greetings. There's a couple of words to just take some of the edge off of your rudeness and thoughtlessness, okay? Because, yeah, you're not going to have any patience. As a budget traveler, budget traveling, very hard work. All right? No. So, yeah. Flashcards. I did cover the greetings, the basic greetings. Then there are specific points that there's no getting away from. In Turkey, it's not. They don't have the separate article. They have an I at the end, an I or U at the end of the word, which means the. All right. And there are just certain points that are unavoidable that I did. Basically, I'm making these flashcards so I'm able to get through these units and know what the heck they're talking about. Alright, so the greetings is just general knowledge because I already know what budget traveling is about and what it means to be a foreigner. Okay, so yeah, just priorities, you're going to need that. So I did that, and I did the article thing, and I am just every time a specific point comes up that I keep on making mistakes on, I'll make a flashcard to let me know what the heck I'm doing wrong. Alright? So I was saying, I hope I don't get it. I've already started the flashcards. So, yeah. So much for that. But yeah, basically I'm getting to the point where I don't have to check, tap the word to see what it means or how it's connected to this thing. I can just straightforward just get through the lesson without having to refer to any hints or yeah, I need flashcards. So, okay. So now what am I doing? I've gone back to Unit 1, like I said. I did all of Level 2 on Unit 1. I had already done Level 2 for Unit 2. I even did a couple of lessons in Unit 3 for you but I realized, wait a minute, we've left all the basics and now we're hitting specific grammatical points. So I knew I had to change things at that point. So, Unit 1, I've already gone through. I've returned to that one. I've already gone through the second level of that. I had already done the second level on Unit 2. After finishing Level 2 on Unit 1, I've begun Unit 3. Alright? No, not Level 3. I'm sorry. So, alright. I went from Unit 1 to Unit 4 on the first level, all the way through. By the time I went back, I had already picked up enough vocabulary that I only have to type on half of the words by the time I got to the end of Unit 4. Okay? Just out of sheer repetition. Okay? It just happens that way. So I had gone back to not all the way back to Unit 1, but Unit 2. This is initially when I was going to drop a unit. I had gone back to Unit 2 and done the following unit. The level, right? Level 2 on Unit 2. Then started doing a couple of lessons in Unit 3, but that wasn't working out. I went all the way back to Unit 1, did the second level. So at this point, what does that mean? That means I had Level 1 on all the units, and I had Level 2 for Unit 1 and 2 at this point. So after I finished Level 2 on Unit 1, I started Level 3 on Unit 1, since I had already done the Unit 2. Yeah, I know, very confusing, very confusing. But basically, knowing now if I had known then what I know now, I would have still done the whole thing on the first level, gone back to Unit 1 to do the second level, and then Unit 2 on the second level, and then gone back to Unit 1. In other words, the first 2 units are the basics. And I intend to stick with the basics until I've finished Level 3. Yeah. So I'm happy I went through the whole thing. I got a kind of overview of how the whole thing is set up. Plus, just out of sheer repetition, I've got a handful of very useful vocabulary. Useful for DUOLINGO, and I find DUOLINGO an exceptional program system to learn languages, so that's useful. That in and of itself is useful. That I'm able to use this thing, have this thing that'll make it easier for me to deal with DUOLINGO. Okay? So I'm sticking with the basics, which is Unit 1 and Unit 2. I went through the whole thing the first level. Unit 1 and 2, I'm going to keep on going until I've covered the first 3 levels. Once I've covered the first 3 levels, I'm going to, at this point, I'm assuming that I will have some kind of handle on the language. Since I am trying to focus on comprehension and reading, so I'm not too much of a people person. Then I'll get to like a functional level of speech once I'm actually have to apply it in Turkey. Okay? I'm not trying to drive myself crazy, okay? I'm just trying to get a reasonable handle on the language so I'll have some kind of fighting chance once I get there to actually, build my language skills up. Because as a budget traveler, like I said, budget traveling is harsh, all right? It's not for the timid. Inconvenient, troublesome, everything's an ordeal. You're going to run out of patience real fast. You're not paying the extra bucks for people to put up with your cluelessness and your helplessness and just... So everything's going to be an ordeal. You're going to have to deal with everything. No one's going to run interference for you because, yeah, that's where the money comes in. What can I tell you? I'll come back a Rockefeller. Until then, I've got to deal with it. So to give myself a fighting chance as far as the language is concerned, I am learning what I can now. Because once I get just my own personality, I know. Not being too much of a people person to begin with. If I've got to wait until I get there to start trying to get language skills, yeah, that's not going to work too well. Because it's going to take all my patience just to deal with the everyday situations that I'm going to be confronted with. I'm not going to have anything to spare for building up the language things until I've been there for quite some time. Which is fine if you're just going there as a traveler, but if you want to get there and get things accomplished as quickly as possible, you really have to do some prep work. Because it's difficult. Okay, budget traveling. And just all the situations that are happening now, no one has a surplus of patience and generosity and all that no, everyone's at their wits' end. Everyone's burning it at both ends of the candle. So, and budget traveling is and always has been difficult. All right. You get what you pay for, and if you don't want to pay anything, you're not going to get anything. So it's not for the timid. All right. You got to do. No one's running interference for you. You got to do it. So yeah. All I can say is, don't go to a place that has never had someone from your country. All right. You only do that when you've got money to have people run interference for you. Because if you don't know what you're doing, and the people you're dealing with have never had to deal with someone like you, that's going to be problems. So at least go to a country where they've had people from your country before, so at least someone knows what's going on. All right, because you're not going to know, or you're not going to know enough to stay out of trouble. All right, so it's like, okay. Don't be the groundbreaker if you don't have the money to have someone run interference for you. All right. So, yeah, if you're going someplace that doesn't have an established tourist industry, hasn't had experience dealing with people from your culture, you better have money, okay, to soften the blow, because you're going to be stepping on everybody's toes, all right? You're just, yeah. And no one's going to have the good grace to deal with your nonsense. Okay, okay. So anyway, with my personality and the current situation, I know I have to learn what I can now. Because when I'm dealing with it, when I'm under fire, there's only so much patience I'll have, all right, to work with. So I want to get all the comprehension I can now. Even if I can't speak one word. Which is BS, because you'll be able to speak one word. Yeah, maybe two, alright? But, yeah. With my personality, I know I'm just going to basically be focusing on reading and comprehension until I get there. And then if I'm able to get like a functional level of speaking, that's fine. And writing, I'm not going to school, I really don't. But yeah, I'd feel better if I had at least the same, maybe slightly lower than my speaking level. But since I'm also going to be working on my reading anyway, my writing should at least match my speaking level. But whatever. I'm not going to school, so the writing is not really that significant. But yeah, I'm going to be working on the reading, so it's going to be more or less match my speaking level. Yeah, if it doesn't, I'm not going to sweat it too much. Because, yeah, unless you're going to school, that really doesn't come into play anyway. But, budget traveling. You got to do some prep work. Because you're not going to have enough patience to deal with everything. So work at least on your comprehension when you don't really need the language yet. So with this in mind, knowing my circumstances, my personality and all that, yeah, I'm going to focus in on the basics. Yeah, back to Duolingo now that I've sidetracked, give you some background, why I'm making the decisions I'm making. Units 1 and 2. I want to get through level 3, covering the basics, before I get back to unit 3 and 4, which is talking about specific grammatical points and increasing my vocabulary in specific areas. Right, to give me a broader range of comprehension and all that. But I want to make sure, before I get too carried away, I want to make sure that I have a strong enough foundation that if I need to be in Istanbul next month, it's not going to be it's not going to completely blow me away. So, trying to speed this process up as much as possible. Units 1 and 2 through level 3, and then once I've completed level 3 in both those units, they've got Sesame Street in Turkish. So I'm going to try to start listening to that and hopefully really start focusing in on comprehension. I did write some notes on that too. I had noticed that because I'm still, at this point, I am working on level 3 in unit 1. And another thing I've noticed, besides them continually trying to prompt me to advance, because yeah, now I'm able to go through a couple of lessons without making one mistake. So they keep on prompting me, advance to the next level. But hold on, I've got something, and this is okay. Speeding things up. If you don't make any mistakes after 2 lessons, the system will try to get you to advance to the next level. Don't. But go to the next lesson. Do you really need the crowns? Oh. When you get into, every time you finish a level, you get a crown, which increases, it just, I don't know, your stats improve. Do you really need the crowns? Why blow the extra review time? You'll need it. Okay, so it is extra review. Alright. Another thing is, don't assume, as the program obviously assumes, that you know it all. Any mistakes cropping up now is an indication that a basic concept was missed. Like I said, now I'm making flashcards every time I come across a mistake because I obviously missed it the first time around. So yeah, it's a little heads up for myself that, hello, you this is what you missed. Okay, this is a little highlighting concept for myself, just to make it. And besides, once you don't have to super focus. Oh, I noticed this morning. I added this morning. And besides, once you don't have to be super focused on vocabulary and basic grammar, your mind can shift over to focusing on things like comprehension. In other words, you're relaxed enough to really start listening. So once you're no longer struggling trying to remember, oh, what does this word mean? Or oh, how do you do this again? You can start focusing in on other things like spelling. Because I had to stop and think, because like I said, now everything's almost essay. So now I have to spell everything out. And I was trying to remember, how did they spell cheese? You know, so I'm trying to, because it's more or less phonetic, but not. Still, you know, things will throw you if you're not paying attention. So now you can focus in on things like spelling and listening, your comprehension. Alright? Now that you don't have to be super focused on trying to remember what that word meant or how you do this grammatically. So once you're not super focused on the vocabulary and basic grammar, your mind can shift on to other aspects of the language. In my case, since I'm focusing on reading and comprehension, I can focus in on the spelling and I can focus in on listening. Because, like I said, after I've, almost 40 minutes, sorry. After I've finished with the basics for 3 levels, which at this point is just essay questions at this level 3. I'm going to try to start watching Sesame Street in Turkish. So hopefully really starting to focus in on learning what I need to know to be able to understand something, anything, to have some kind of handle on the language. Before I really start getting picky and start picking apart specific grammatical points or building my vocabulary in specific areas, which is what Unit 3 and Unit 4 do. Alright, I wanted to get this Duolingo video uploaded. It's already 40 minutes, sorry. But it's, again, it's a very significant part of my existence. Language skills, right? I mean, basically I'm just doing 2 things. Saving money and working on my Turkish. Alright, so my personality being what it is, I've got to do the prep work before I get to the country. Because I know I'm going to be budget traveling. And that's hard enough. I do not have the patience to deal with everything. Budget traveling is hard enough. I need to have some kind of language foundation before I get there. Right? Once I'm in Istanbul, I'll be working on my plan B. I'll be working on my Vietnamese. That's my personality. I know I need to do some prep work before I get to the place. I'm not a Rockefeller. I'm doing budget traveling. That's hard enough. No one's running interference for me. My patience is not limitless. I just don't have the good grace to be able to handle everything and still have the patience to work on my language skills. It's just too much to deal with. It's too much to deal with. Forget it. So, you know. If you're Andrew Henderson and you have those that 7 to 8 figure income, and you have all your staff and native speakers to do all your legwork for you, that's a beautiful thing. Fine, you don't need to know the language. If you're just some poor schlep and you're just, you know, muddling through, you better work on your language skills. And that means doing some of the prep work before you get there, because budget traveling has its own challenges and it will use up most of your patience. Yeah, at least that's what I've found. My situation and personality being what it is. So, yeah. I need to work on my Turkish now. And when I'm in Istanbul, I need to work on my Vietnamese, because that's my plan B. No, it is not El Salvador, because I looked at the world, hostel world, and they don't have any hostels. So, no dorm facilities there, so that's beyond me. So that's beyond. Vietnam is still my plan B. So yeah, when I'm in Istanbul, I'll be working on my Vietnamese. Yeah. Hey, that's what happens when you don't come back a Rockefeller, right? So for all you poor schleps out there, yeah, you got to do your own prep work. If you're a Rockefeller or Andrew Henderson, good for you. You got your staff of native speakers to do all your legwork for you. Good. All right. As far as updating you on everything else, it is still Houston. What is it? January 30th, 2022. 11:15 a.m. Sunday. Yeah, this was supposed to be the 7th day. I have yet to have a 7th day. Things don't necessarily work out the way which is another video. And yeah, I wanted to get Duolingo. I wanted to get this one done. The update, I'll do later. After I've started my laundry. Get that in. All right, boys and girls. Itinerant school marm. Still in Houston. Talk to you later.